Hi, hello besties, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Daphne if you're new here. I'm so excited because we are talking about Halloween Horror Nights, actually a scare actor and an entertainment supervisor for Halloween Horror Nights, and I'm so excited to share my experiences with you and kind of some of my favorite stories about that time. I actually asked y'all on Instagram kind of some questions about what you'd like to know and everything also, so I'm so excited to just talk about this and everything. I split the video up into a few different parts. So the first part is going to be how I got into scare acting, kind of the audition process, all that stuff. The second part will be kind of my time scare acting, like stories, like what it's like, kind of all that stuff about the event. The third part, I'll probably go into what it's like being an entertainment supervisor for the event and kind of being on the other side and like kind of being in charge of the scare actors and everything. And then the last part, I'll get to the questions that were asked and everything as well on Instagram. I'll put my link down below, so if you want to follow me for next time I do a question video or anything like that. So yeah, here we go. So how I got into Halloween Horror Nights is I used to work for actually Universal Studios Hollywood. I used to work in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So I used to work like be a witch and everything like that. It was so much fun. I can also talk about that experience too. If y'all want to know, just let me know down below. So I found out about auditioning for Horror Nights from working there, and because my boyfriend is actually a performer at Universal as well. He was telling me about it and how much fun it is and everything, so I decided why not, I should audition also. So the first year I auditioned was 2017. You actually audition in the summertime. I always auditioned on July 6th all 3 years that I auditioned, and the process was kind of intimidating. I didn't really know what to expect. They just say to come dressed comfortable and everything like that. Oh, if you don't work for like Universal, they always post when they are looking for scare actors, because they do hire outside of the company around kind of spring, summertime. Just kind of check on the company website or anything, and they'll usually have auditions posted about like when and where and everything and whatnot. So in the email that I got, it said to dress comfortable, like, you'd be able to move around and everything. So I was like, okay, cool. So I had on like my leggings and workout gear, everything on. I was actually at a hotel, so it's in the conference room of one of the hotels that is near Universal. So I was there and everything. I got there like I think 15 minutes before my call time. I was kind of stretching. I didn't really know what to expect. Someone comes out and when you go, you sign in and everything, and they give you a number. So you put the number on like your shirt or whatever, so it's visible for the judges and everyone to see. So I had my number on and everything. I was feeling pretty jittery. I don't even like talking about it now. I'm still like going back to like that kind of nervousness and everything about it. They divide you into groups of like people that are auditioning. So when your group number gets called in, you go into a smaller kind of conference room. When you walk in, there's like 3 cones that are set up in the middle of the room, and so I thought that was kind of weird. I was like, what is happening? Line up and everything. Or if you line up in order or whatnot of like your numbers or anything, years. But say that they're gonna play a song, and for half of the song, you're gonna pretend that you are like stalking some sort of prey in the like imaginary prey in the room. And then once the song, like I think it was like a dubstep song, once like the beat changes, then you're supposed to like attack that prey and everything. So I was like, okay, cool. So I was kind of like thinking about it. I was like, okay, what would I like be like stalking like a cat or something? Oh no, that's like immediately what I thought to do. So they play the song, and so we start like going. I felt a little bit awkward at first, but then kind of figured like, what is there to lose? Like, I feel like the bigger you go, the better, you know? I know that was like my mindset for it. So I stalk my prey and everything, and then the song changes, and then you start to like attack that prey. So like running around and everything, hoping that I look really scary. And then the song stops, and then they're like, okay, cool. So I'm just like, oh my God, I hope I didn't look like, I mean, I'm sure I probably look like an idiot, but I hope I look like an idiot that they would cast, you know? I don't know. And so after that, they tell you, everyone go to like one side of the room. Oh, one of the main things is like they said don't touch the cones, like when you're like when you're praying or attacking, just don't touch the cones, because the cones could be like guests. And main thing is like never touch guests. Like I've gotten touched by guests, I've gotten punched in the face. I will tell you all about that. We are on the other side of the room. They're like line up into like certain rows and everything, and they have each person go across the room and from one side to the other and scare those cones like they're guests. So I come up with like a character or something in your head, and so I'm like, okay, I'm like thinking of it, I'm like, oh my god, okay, like what kind of character, like this is my first audition for like anything. Like the only other thing I've ever done that's like acting or something like that would be, I was like Snow White in like the 5th grade play. That was the most like I've ever done. So I was like thinking, I was like, oh my god, I have to think of a character. I was like, oh my gosh, okay. So I think I just did like some sort of like creepy doll from what I remember. You don't have to like announce. I don't think you have to like announce what your character is. It's just like whatever you do. So I just like remember like prancing and like scaring the cone and like coming back, I don't know, like doing like trying to contort my body, kind of weird, also like scary, like what would scare me, like running at me or something, you know? Like honestly, I kind of felt like I like blacked out during that time. Like I was so nervous, and I just remember making it on the other side of the room, and I was like, cool. I was like, that felt like it went by really fast. Like in my head, I'm thinking, I'm like, did I go too fast? Like did I just like go really fast at the cone skip? I'm like, oh my god, what did I even do? Like I feel like I like blacked out like each time I've like auditioned. So I was like, okay, cool. Got so nervous. And so then everyone goes through, and like you see other people like rolling on the ground, like doing all sorts of like walking on backward, like doing all sorts of crazy things. And I was like, oh my gosh, these people are so good. I was like, I think I probably just look like I'm such a derp, like going across or something. And so then once everyone's done, they're like, okay, thank you so much, like go wait outside, and then we'll call your number, and if we call your number, then you'll get this thing called the golden ticket, move on to the next round. So I was like, oh my god, okay, cool. And I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I still have my number from when I first got cast. Oh my god, hold on. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that I still have these. Honestly, I'm not that surprised because I keep, honestly, everything. I keep so much random stuff. So wow, oh my gosh, so I think this was my first one, so I was number 41, and then on the back you can see, so it said costume measurements, interview, and then staffing information. So I got this, oh so sorry, I'm skipping ahead in the story. I got my golden ticket, sorry, spoiler. So we're all waiting in like this one part of like the hotel lobby, and like waiting for him to come out, and I'm like, oh my god, I have like fingers crossed, toes crossed. I'm like, oh my god, please let me just get a golden ticket. I don't know what that means, but I just know you advance to the next round, and it sounds like what you want to get. So I'm like, oh my god, so nervous. So they're going through the numbers, and then they're like 39, so I think they were like 39, 40, and I was like, oh my god, I'm 41. They're like 41. I was like, oh my god, I made it. Whew. Then I felt like I could breathe, and whatever number they called next, I was like, whatever. Oh, I was just so excited that they called my number. And so yeah, so I was like, 41. And so then you go into another room, like a separate room from where you did your little scare the cone thing, and you get measured. So you get like your head measurement for like masks, you get like shoulder, you get like basically everything, like your whole body measured for a costume and everything. And then they have an interview section where you go and you sit down with someone, and they ask you like, are you okay with small spaces? Like what would you do if someone comes at you? Like kind of questions like that and everything. And then I forget what staffing information was. I think that was just, I forget what that was. Staff information, like probably like availability, I think, or something like that. Maybe if you are on vacation or anything, like they really hope that you're able to work the whole run, because if you do get cast and you're cast in a role, and that role might only have you and one other person in it, and if you are not able to do like that role for like a week or a couple of weeks of the run or something, then that's kind of strenuous, just because like it's only you two doing that role. Sorry, so there's that. And then I had it for also for like my other one as well, which didn't have staffing information crossed off, so I don't really remember what that was. But both years I made it and I was cast. My third year I made it and I was cast as well. But then I ended up doing the entertainment supervising last year. So my story's kind of all over the place. I just started like kind of remembering things. So yeah, so once you get your golden ticket, all that stuff, then you just kind of wait. They tell you that it's gonna be probably like a month or like a few weeks until you get an email if you're cast. So some people do get golden tickets and they don't actually get cast. They might get put for something called pool, where they get pulled for different roles, so they might get an email later on in the run. So I was like so nervous. I was like checking my email literally like every day, and I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I was so nervous. And then I got my email and it said that I got cast, and then it said to go for my costume fitting, and it told me the location and what time and everything, or like choose a time that'd be available, if I was available at this time, this date, whatever. And I was like, oh my god, bless. I felt like I could breathe. I was so excited. I was like, okay, cool. I got cast. I got a role. I don't care what it is. I'm there. I'm to my costume fitting, and they hand me an outfit, and I was like, okay, cool. Like I didn't know what it really was. Like all it said was just like the maze that I was cast in, but it didn't tell me the role that I was cast in, if I remember the email correctly. So it just said like, you were cast, here's like the maze and everything, and then just go try on your costume. So I was like, okay, cool. So I go and I get this skirt and this black shirt and this black cardigan. I'm like, okay, this is kind of basic, but like whatever, it's cute. So I try it on, fits perfectly. I'm like, yay, cool. Like I come out, costume people are like, yay, cool, fits great. Like no adjustments, nothing. I had to supply my own shoes. Yeah, I had to supply my own shoes. I just bought some like black ballet flats and then like some black socks to go with them. Then I found out I was cast as Cheryl in Ash vs. Evil Dead, so I was so excited. So her episode is actually like in season 2. I think it's episode 6. But yeah, I got to play Cheryl. I was so excited because I love the Evil Dead franchise so much. I was so excited. And then I remember watching the episode. I watched the whole Ash vs. Evil Dead series, which I highly suggest. It is so good. The first 2 seasons, I haven't seen the 3rd season, but I just feel like the 2nd season ended on such a perfect note. So I highly suggest watching it. It was only me and one other girl, so there was only 2 of us that played Cheryl that year. It was so much fun. After that, you get another like kind of follow-up email that's like, oh, what day you go for Scare Academy. So Scare Academy is where you find out all the mazes, you meet everyone in your maze, you meet your supervisors, you get kind of the rundown of Horror Nights, what to do for costuming, what to do for masks, schedule of like the run, you get the whole layout of Horror Nights. It was really, really exciting. At the time, it was held in the special effects. No, actually my first year, it was actually held in the Animal Actor Showcase. I forgot, it was held outside, and I was so cold because it said to dress like business casual, I think, not bring a jacket. And I remember sitting there and I was really, really cold. So it was actually Animal Actors. I totally forgot about that. So my first year was at Animal Actors, and the next 2 years it was inside the special effects show building, which neither of those buildings are there anymore. And so then we had Scare Academy, and that was super cool. And then you meet your whole castmates and everything. And I met my double, and then I met my supervisors at the time, who were so amazing. I had the best supervisors for first year. I could not ask for anyone better. They were so incredible. That we meet up with our maze. So we meet up with our maze at the end of Scare Academy, and then once you meet up with them, you kind of find out what your next day is for when you get to kind of see your maze and everything. It's so exciting. So when I was in Ash vs. Evil Dead, it was when the night still had mazes on the Metro lots, which is an area of the back lots on the Universal lot. If you've been on the studio tour and you go by Courthouse Square, so right in that area was where the mazes used to be. You used to walk down this hill and walk down a tunnel. It used to be called Toxic Tunnel, or like whatever it was themed at the time. But down, so our maze was actually there on the Metro lot, working on the back lot, because we got to take our breaks like back there also. And so it's just really cool. Like my best friend is absolutely obsessed and like in love with the Back to the Future movies. So I would like take my breaks and send him photos from like Courthouse Square, because we would like sit on the curb there, and like the closest bathrooms were like back where the sets are and everything. Oh, and we would see like families of raccoons. It was so cute. So it was a lot of fun. So your first night, sorry, I kind of get derailed and everything a little bit with stories. So we met everyone, and we go down to our maze, and that's when we learn where our hide is and how to like come out of our hide, and where all the little like our triggers where like you press something and the sound and lights or something will happen if you have one for your scare, or just kind of like you learn your blocking. So you learn like what you can do, how to come out, how to like not hit guests or touch guests or anything, and you get to walk through the maze and everything. It's really, really exciting. So there was another maze that night. At the time that year, there was American Horror Story Roanoke, and I think it was Saw were the mazes that were like directly next to us. And then there was a scare zone. I forget what the scare zone was called at the time. It was just like hell themed from what I remember. Like if the other mazes I think were there that night, and they were rehearsing also. So it's kind of fun just meeting everyone that's around. Horror Nights, it very much feels like summer camp. Like if you've ever been to summer camp, it very much feels like that. You're up all night with hanging out with these people. You're creating all these incredible, really unique memories. So it just felt like our little part of like summer camp. I don't know, it was just so much fun. So you learn your hide and everything. My hide at the time was coming out of a door that said Cheryl on it. It was a hallway that you would walk down. I'll find clips of our maze and I'll insert them from people walking through them. Specifically try and find one. Oh, actually I scared Tim and Jen Tracker. So actually I'll put in my clip from that of scaring them. So that was really cool. So you would walk from down a hallway, and there'd be 2 doors, and so one of the doors you didn't know who was going to come out of it, and so one of the doors was Cheryl's door, and so I'd pop out of it and scare you and then go back into my hide. So we would do that. So it was really fun learning our hide and everything. And the first night that you're in costume and everything is actually employee kind of rehearsal night. Employees have a night where they get to come, it's just them, they can usually invite like a +1, and they get to see the event, and that's our dress rehearsal. So it's our first time being in costume and makeup with our scaring with our masks on. One of the questions I got a lot about the masks were the white eye. First time like doing all that is like employee night, so it was definitely kind of crazy, like coming out, like scaring people. Like you feel like kind of, I don't know, I was like so nervous. Like I remember my heart beating so fast, like my first set, because our sets for 2 people were 45 minutes on and 45 minutes off. So it was 45 minutes scaring and then having a 45-minute break. So we would alternate like that, and there's different areas in the maze that you can walk through, that so you can tap out your partner so you're not walking in front of guests or anything. There's like certain areas that they create in the maze so you can swap out your partner so they don't see 2 Cheryls walking by each other or something like that. My first 45 minutes of like the first night was, I was just so nervous. I remember my heart was pounding, like I could like hear it. I could hear it like over the music, over all of the noises and everything. I was like, oh my gosh, I was just so nervous. So I remember coming out doing my scares, and then you just start to get this like adrenaline, and it's just so much fun. And then it's like the 45 minutes is like the quickest time ever. Like it goes by so fast. Like I was like, oh my god, can I stay out here longer? And so then I had like the first night, and it was so much fun. And then you have like opening night where it's like open to the public, and then you get everyone's reactions, and it was just so much fun. Oh my gosh, it was the best time. It was the first time that I ever got to scare like celebrities. I remember, oh my gosh, my most memorable one was like coming out of like my scare, like coming out the door to scare someone, and like kind of scare someone. I was like face to face with like Selena Gomez, and it was at the time when she was dating The Weeknd, so he was like way tall above her, and I was like, in my mind I was like, oh my god, that's Selena Gomez. I like shut the door. I was like, oh my god, that was so cool. I remember that so vividly. I was like, ah, oh my god, that was so amazing. Other celebrities that came through that year, oh, I remember Snoop Dogg came through our maze, and at the final scare, like Ash comes out with like his chainsaw, and he says like a thing, I forget what his little line is, and I remember scared Snoop Dogg so bad he tripped and fell over a trash can at the end of our maze. What like wasn't so fun about our maze was that the Cheryl scare that year for 2017, we ended up finding out from our supervisors later on, was actually the most attacked hide in the whole run for some reason. That they actually had to put a deadbolt on our door because guests would sometimes be drinking, or they were just, I don't know, just like very aggressive. And that was the first time I ever got punched in the face. That was like very, very crazy. I remember like coming out like immediately, and I was like, oh my god. And then like they catch the people on security, and they're usually escorted out and banned from the park, and all the whole sorts of process. So I was like, didn't know what to do. I was like so shocked. But people would like kick the door in on us, or like try to attack us. I don't know, it was like so weird. I don't know what Cheryl provokes in people, but that was super wild. It was definitely just such a fun event though. Oh my gosh, it was just so amazing. Like you're just staying up, like I said, it just feels like summer camp. You're staying up so late with everyone, you're just hanging out. It's just so much fun. And then I don't know why, but we didn't have shirts that year that we made. A shirt that I bought that year that was Ash versus Evil Dead. This was a shirt that they sold at like the Horror Nights store. So we had like the demon spawns and of course Ash and everything, and so really cool. But I don't know why we didn't make, other years we made shirts for like the maze, like for just like cast shirts. I couldn't find my Monsters shirt for like the life of me. I have no idea where it is, so I don't have it for that, but I am wearing my Monsters like hoodie though. Then you also get a Scare Actor alumni patch when you're done with the year. That was the year that we had The Shining there as well, which was a really incredible maze. So our patch was themed around Jack's axe, so that was really cool. And I remember one of, I think it was one of the sound guys, they made this really cool like Ash sculpture. Let me see it. I want to make it into like a magnet. It was really, really cool, and it says HHN 2017. It says Ash versus Evil Dead. So that was really, really cool. And one of the things that they give you, this is actually from 2018. I don't know where my 2017 wallet is, but they give you a wallet as a Scare Actor, so you can keep your ID on you and any money and everything, so you can always keep that on you. So I still have like my wallet from that year also. Ash vs. Evil Dead, it was such a fun year. It was so incredible. It was definitely such a good like first year introduction that it had me want to audition the next year, which I did, and I got cast in the first ever Universal Monsters Maze for Halloween Horror Nights. And that was, I think it was just called Universal Monsters. and it had like Dracula and Frankenstein and the Mummy and the Invisible Man. That was my favorite part of the maze. It was so cool. And we had a Phantom of the Opera. We had so many. Actually, that year I was cast in the Scare Zone, which was really cool. That was my first time ever like being in a scare zone. Like the difference is when I was in Cheryl and Ash vs. Evil Dead, I was confined to like my height, so I could only come out of the door and kind of do so much. In your scare zone, you have like free space to roam around and everything, so that was so much fun. So I got cast as the Egyptian cat masquerader. The whole scare zone when you came out of the maze was themed as a masquerade. It was so much fun. Oh my gosh, the dresses, the big poofy dresses, oh, I was having the best time. When I tried on my costume for that year, for 2018, when I went down to costuming try on for the first time, oh my gosh, I was like, no way, because I didn't know it just said Universal Monsters and it said Egyptian cat masquerader. I remember for that one I was like, I don't know what that means. I was kind of confused. I thought maybe I was in like the mummy section or something. And then when they brought out the dress, oh my gosh, I was so excited because it had the big hoop skirt. It was so much fun. Oh my gosh, I loved twirling in that thing. I had so much fun. That was so incredible. Oh my gosh. So like exciting being a part of the first ever Universal Monsters maze, because as you know, since then they've done a different one every single year, and I'm so excited for this year's. It's gonna be so cool. Had that was the most fun because I had the most interactions also with celebrities that year because I was in Scare Zone. So I actually got to like, even though we're not allowed to touch guests, and I did not touch the guest first, I got to slow dance with Seth Green, so that was really cool. I got to scare so many celebrities. I got to scare Slash and his girlfriend. That was so much fun. So many people. Oh, I got to scare Ariana Grande. She comes every year. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. She is so tiny. That was actually the second time I saw her. I've seen her before when I was working in a different role in the park. I actually saw her and Pete Davidson. They were in their Harry Potter robes. Oh my gosh, they were so cute. That was so much fun. What was ours themed? Oh, that year was the first year they had Stranger Things. So our patch was themed like the Upside Down. So yeah, that was our alumni patch of that year. That year, I think we were still on 45 on, 45 off for my role because it was only 2 of us that were the Egyptian cat masqueraders. It was so much fun. Oh, and for that role, I was actually on the upper lot, so like kind of where the French streets are, that's where we were. So one thing that was really nice was because we didn't have to wait for a shuttle bus to go all the way down to the metro lot. So it was kind of like bummed not being in the metro lots because it is really cool like being on the actual Universal lots and scary and working down there and everything. But it was really nice being upstairs because we just got to walk from Scare Base where you pick up your costume and everything. So we just got to walk from Scare Base and walk to our maze, and grabbing dinner during the during Horror Nights, like where you grab food, was really close also, so that was really handy. Like I said, we made a shirt. I cannot find my shirt though. I looked everywhere. So I'm wearing my sweatshirt that says Universal Monsters that I got that year, and it has a monster thing on the back. And that year, I think it was another person from Sound. They made these little graveyards that say HHN Monsters, and then they say 2018. So it's so cool how like crafty people get when they give you stuff. Like it's just so much fun. Like you really do become like a family with those people that you're working with for a few months. Like with the security people, sound people, like obviously your other fellow like scare actors, supervisors. Like it's just the best time. Oh, like the maze host, like everyone, like you just all become such a big family. Is honestly like the best time. I think everyone should at least try an audition or something. I don't know, the hours are crazy, I know, because you're like scaring from like 7 p.m. to like, I don't know, like 1 a.m. or something. I don't know. It's like crazy. And so that is a lot, but it's so much fun though. I so much suggest it. It was so cool. So yeah, those are my scare patches from then. The next year, I was actually a entertainment supervisor. So I did audition again because I wanted, even if I didn't get entertainment supervisor that I applied for, I was like, well, I still want to scare. So I did the same audition process. I got my golden ticket, got the whole thing. So I was like, yay, very cool. Ended up actually getting cast, and then I had to turn down the role because then I ended up getting entertainment supervisor. And actually, irony, I got entertainment supervisor for the maze that I actually got cast in, which was Holidays in Hell. I would have been one of the ice queens, so I would have been living like my kind of Elsa dream in a way. I actually got entertainment supervisor, and I'm so grateful that I got it because it was so much fun. It was me and one other girl. We were in charge of, we had the largest cast. We had over 65 people in our maze that we were in charge of and everything. It was so much fun. It was so much fun like being able to create that environment for everyone, like that family summer camp environment. Like we would create little games to encourage people to go through the maze. Like we would hide a duck in the maze. That was something actually other supervisors I did in other mazes, so I wanted to pass that along. So it just encourages people to go through the maze, and once you see like your other fellow characters coming through, you just kind of get this extra boost of like adrenaline. If you had like a guess that was kind of lame, or it's a little bit slow or something like that, or you're just kind of having an off night, like just seeing your other characters come through. I'm sorry, I had to change out my battery. So we really tried to encourage that for everyone. And so this was it was another year that we had Stranger Things. So this was my badge, and then here it says for like 2019 and everything. And then we had little pins that had Holidays in Hell, which was the maze. It's actually going to be a maze this year for Horror Nights as well, which is so cool. It was a scare zone, I believe, in 2018. It was the highest rated scare zone in all of Horror Nights history. And then for 2019, we were actually #1 ranked maze. We were tied with Killer Clowns, so that was so cool. And because we were an original base maze, so that year we were competing with a bunch of like really big IPs, intellectual properties. Like there was Us that year, and then there was Stranger Things and stuff. So the fact that we were like ranked #1, I was so proud of our maze. It was so much fun. We I do have my shirt that one of our scare actors, she actually drew this whole thing. It's so amazing. It's all the different holidays, and it says Holidays in Hell. Ah! It was so cute. Oh my gosh. And then at the end of the year, they actually printed out a poster, and all of the scare actors actually signed it. There was one for me and one for my fellow supervisor as well, and they all signed it for us, and it was so sweet. It was honestly the best year. That was my favorite year for sure. Like besides like acting, I'll go into like what my favorite year was scare acting in a minute also, but it was just like so much fun just being a supervisor, just being like just creating that environment for everyone. It was so much fun. I had the best cast ever. Everyone was so talented. They were just, honestly, it was just the best ever. Everyone was so talented. Everyone was really just wanted to have like that same family environment as well. I feel like everyone had each other's back, and my other supervisor, we got along so well. Like we were like literally two peas in a pod. Like it was so much fun. Like we almost, for Halloween, we almost talked about dressing as like the Shining twins because we were so like in sync with everything. She was so amazing. She's so talented as well, and just like such a kind and great person. It was just so much fun. Oh my gosh, I just literally could not talk more highly of it. And our scare patch that year, oh, we had Ghostbusters that year. Oh, we were ranked more than Ghostbusters. I forgot about that. Sorry. But yeah, so our scare actor badge was Ghostbusters that year. Still got one that year, even though we were supervisors, but we still got one. It was so much fun. The greatest time literally ever. I don't think I'm gonna go back into scaring anymore. It's just like now with like the hours, I'm just so grateful for the time that I did it. Like looking back is just such a perfect memory. I had so much fun as Cheryl. I feel like I got to do everything that I wanted. I wanted to be like a node character. I wanted to be in a scare zone, and then once I did both of those, I wanted to be an entertainment supervisor. So I got to do everything that I wanted to do. I feel like it would have been really fun to be a face character, like not be in a mask, but also like I feel like you get so sweaty, and like I don't know, like I feel like I made like really dumb faces under my mask. So I'm kind of glad that like I don't know, I wasn't a face character also. It was just so much fun. I know I keep saying that, but it just really was. It was the greatest time ever. Of course, I'll like already put in photos of our whole time and everything, but it was just the best. I could not speak more highly of everyone I worked with that year. It was so much fun being on the other end of like coordinating celebrities coming through the maze. So like got to coordinate like Billie Eilish, Justin Bieber. We had, oh my god, we had so many people. We had Ariana Grande. Oh my gosh, we had so many people that year. Those are like some of the main ones that I remember off the top of my head. It was so much fun. It was just the greatest time. It was so much fun. I know I keep saying that, but it really just was. It was the greatest time. So now I'm going to get into some of the questions that I got. Like I said, I asked these on Instagram. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, next time I might answer your question if we do another one of these Q&A type things. I think that they're super fun. I think I might do one about Horror Nights, or doing one about Horror Nights. Sorry, I was like literally looking at a photo that was like talking about it. I would want to do one about working in Harry Potter. I think that would be a lot of fun. So questions, okay, so first thing I got was about like the eyes. So for our costumes, we had masks, and you just see those big white eyes, and we were like, do those eyes hurt? And that's actually the question, do those eyes hurt? So they don't hurt. So we actually see like the slit, like where like the eye crease is. So that's what we look out of. So the eye is actually sitting like below our eyes. That makes sense. So we can actually see out those slits. It's very limited view. It's a very limited view. But that's what you see out of. So they never hurt. Your mask can kind of get a little bit uncomfortable, but mine only went like to here, and then I had makeup all the way down. For the Ash mask that year, like they went all the way down where they had to be tucked into the shirt. So I remember, oh my gosh, that like the guys, they would come out and they'd take their mask off after their set, and they would talk about how the sweat would like pool in like the chin, because like Bruce Campbell has such like a prominent chin, that the sweat would like pool in it. I was like, oh, that's so gross. Also, like, I don't know why, like something around my neck would just kind of like freak me out. I feel like having a mask that like went that long, like obviously you had to do it, you had to do it, but all of my masks that I had only came to like right under here, and then I had makeup all the way down, so the eyes didn't hurt. Same with like the ones for my Egyptian cat masquerader masks. Yeah, the eyes didn't hurt or anything. It's very limited view to see out of, and like your peripherals, so you can't really, like for scare zone, be like, who's behind me? Like I couldn't really like see, so it's like constantly good for constantly moving, so you don't want to be like just stationary in the scare zone, unless if that's part of like your role, or like you're part of like your character or something of it. Yeah, it just kind of had limited view. That was all. Just, what was the funniest reaction you had from a guest? Funniest reaction was, it would be so much fun. Oh my gosh, so like in the hallway as Cheryl, like sometimes you get like kind of a conga line of people coming through the mazes because they get pretty busy. So I remember one time I came out and I like scared like these 3 like girls in front, and they all fell back, and then they fell back into people behind them. So it was like dominoes, just watching them all fall. I was like, oh my god, I cannot. And then also when you scare guests so badly that they like pee themselves, that's always like, always feel bad for those people, but it's also really funny. Like it kind of feels like a scare badge of honor, like when that happens. Like I don't know, you kind of hope that you get to be like that scary that it happens, you know, like those are kind of fun. I always feel bad for people, but they are kind of fun. Like I don't know, when it happens. So sorry, I'm not gonna lie, it's just you feel like you feel super scary. You're like, wow, I really did that. I'm like, I'm not scary, you know, like you just feel kind of good that way. Here's one, oh my gosh, when I talked about kind of when I've gotten like hit before, or like when sometimes people like push you, or like, I don't know, sometimes people like, you can tell when it's reactionary, because I've gotten that before where some people are like, oh, like sometimes it's reactionary, like I'm just like, wow, like get scared, like push or something. I always suggest, if you know that, to like tuck it in your hands, or like link arms with someone or something if you know that about you. But also as a scare actor, you can tell when someone's just like genuinely scared. There's like, oh my god, or if they're like, oh my gosh, to like really push you, you know, like there's a very clear difference. You can definitely tell. So someone asked, did anyone ever get close to unintentionally hurting you because of a scare? I have had people like, especially in a scare zone, because you're around so many people, like people accidentally like brush into you, or they get scared from someone else, and then they don't know you're there. But it is fun to like tag team those scares, because then they like get scared of you and everything. I did have one girl that fell. I know a lot of people fall, but it's kind of funny when you're scaring people. I don't know, it's just something about it that like one of my other girls, I think she was like one of the wolf, I forget like the other names of the characters, but she had like the wolf mask, and she would do this cool like howl charge thing at people. And so she would like, we would like tag team, like, so she would do it, and then they like get so scared, turn around, and then be like, I'd be there like doing like my thing and everything. And so it'd just be like so cool, like pinball scare people. Also, that was a lot of fun. And did you come up with your own scare tactics, or did you go off a script or something? So we do get taught like what your character like is and everything, so like how they would move. So you do have someone that's like a scare, I forget what they're called, like a scare coordinator or something, I forget what they're called, what the title is, but there is a couple of people that are assigned to your, there is someone that's like assigned to like that area, so they will always be like your scare coach or something, so they'll help you like go through with the character. So for like Cheryl, like she wouldn't be like, I don't know, she come out like she's like a deadite, you know, like she's hungry for flesh and everything, like those type of things. Like she's like kind of angry and vengeful and everything and all this stuff. Like she didn't want to die and she died, you know, like all this kind of stuff. So you have to like think about his character, so she wouldn't like, I don't know, come out like dainty or something, you know. You are very much like set up with what you can and can't do, and kind of, but then you're also given like creative freedom. Like one of the things that I would like to do is like I would scare and I would like use the wall, so I come out and like grab the wall and like come back and like stretch my arm out, so then it would like kind of, people be kind of a little bit scared to walk down the hall and then like run past me, so it'd be kind of fun. So I did, so you were able to like improv also. And then like in the scare zone, since I was like an Egyptian cat masquerader, so I had to act very like feline, and so it'd be like very, so that's why I keep like doing that. It's like muscle memory, being like a cat. So we were very much like taught that. And then like also like a mummy, so you'd be kind of like stiff and a little bit like kind of like that and everything too. So I wouldn't, so like there was someone who was like Frankenstein in my scare zone. So it wouldn't be like walking around like Frankenstein, you know, but he had to, you know, so we did have scarecrows. So you could kind of have loosely improv as well. But also you were taught like kind of what to do. And then also like the scare coaches would come through like every night and multiple times a night and give you like pointers on what to do, or like tell you, oh, this looks really cool, like I'm so glad, like I love that you're doing that, like that's awesome. And so, or also if there's like something that might be like a little bit unsafe that you didn't think was unsafe but might end up like hurting your ankle, that like I would spin a lot, and so one of the things I had to watch for is like my ankles, and because we're on the cobblestone, so just kind of learning how to scare safely also was a thing. What makes you more or less likely to pick someone to scare or interact with? So one thing is that if people would always point to someone in the group, I would go after the person that's pointing. Because like don't tell me who to scare, you know, like I don't know, there's kind of like that. So I would either like always go for like that person or the person behind them who's not like expecting it. If you can tell someone's like genuinely freaked out and like not having it, like I wouldn't go after them. But if someone is scared, like it is fun to like kind of go after them. Like I feel like it's very much like, not like more puns of like cat, but very much like cat and mouse game. Like you don't want to like keep going after someone to where it's like unfun, or it feels like you're, I don't know, just like kind of, I don't know, like going after them too hard. Like that is not fun. Like you want to like go real quick and then kind of leave. Like it's fun to leave them still scared, you know. You don't want to keep going after people. After everyone. I don't know, it didn't matter who. Does it get uncomfortable wearing the costume and makeup in the heat? Yes and no. For Horror Nights, especially for LA, I'm sure for Orlando it's a lot different. I've never scared in Orlando, so I'm not sure what it's like, so I'm sure theirs is way different. But once in Hollywood, like kind of once it gets to be like nightfall, the temperature drops, so all the costumes and everything, you're like kind of grateful for those layers and everything. But we've never had too many heavy layers. You do have your Under Armour that you wear under your costume and everything like that, so you're wearing a couple layers. I wouldn't say it's ever like uncomfortable or anything. Some parts were uncomfortable for our hoop skirts. So the only thing that was uncomfortable was like that the wires for the hoop skirts is that sometimes they would bend or they would snap, and so then you'd be like scaring, then suddenly it would like snap and like stab you in the legs. You're like, oh my god. So that part sucks, because then you have to go to costuming and get a whole new hoop skirt that they have on hand, or they repair it. So sometimes you're out for that scare, and that sucks because you're not scaring people, you're just like waiting around for your costume to be repaired. So that was kind of the only thing, but I never had any costumes that were uncomfortable. The Cheryl outfit was just like a black t-shirt, a sweater, and a skirt, and then Under Armour underneath the shirt in the like Under Armour legging. And for the skirt, it was like Under Armour, the big hoop skirt, the skirt over the hoop skirt, and then the dress. And the dress was just like zipped up, so that was pretty easy. So none of it was too uncomfortable. You see through the white contacts. So they weren't contacts, like I said, it was just a part of the mask. Like I said, we could look through the slits of like where the eye crease is. But luckily I didn't have contacts. There were some people that I know in mazes that did have contacts, so that was a whole process. How long does it take to get into makeup, special effects, and costumes? So it all kind of depends on your call time. So if you have a longer makeup, like say for example like the Brides of Frankenstein, like they would have to go into makeup way earlier than I would, because they would have to get like prosthetics, and they have like way longer makeup, so they might be getting an hour and a half earlier than everyone else since they have to sit in the chairs longer. So it really depends. For mine, I think I had like a couple hours before call time and everything. So for me, I would like go grab my costume and everything and then go sit down for makeup. So my makeup was mostly just like, I would get blacked out like my eyes all around, and then I would get like my neck and then like down, and then I usually get my arms and hands fully covered. So it'd mostly just be like elbow and then all of hands, and then normally like from right about like where my shirt is and then up would be all of makeup, and then my eyes would be blacked out as well, like Batman. So it'd be like that too. So it maybe like an hour ish, especially just if like, because they have so many makeup artists, and then you're usually sometimes waiting in a line of like other people, so usually waiting longer than it takes your makeup to go, you know. Best person you've scared. The most memorable was just like literally being face to face with Selena Gomez. I was like, oh my god, that's so great. It was just very much like a surreal moment. I think that was the first celebrity I scared my first year, so it just really stands out to me. But I've had so many great scares. Like I said, like it's so satisfying when you get someone that they fall because they're so scared. Like I know that sounds horrible, but you really feel so scary, and you're like, yeah, I did that. Like it just feels really cool. Or like when you just get someone that like, oh my gosh, or like that they're scared to like walk past you because you're so scary. Oh, that's so much fun also. It's just a good time. did I have a long commute to Universal that I had to do every day, and how did that affect my plans working at Universal, and did I work at Universal during the week and day hours? So 3 questions in one. So I live in Burbank, so I don't have a long commute to Universal at all. Like, it's maybe 10 minutes away from me. I don't have a long commute. Other people did have long commute, so I didn't really have to factor that in too much, luckily. In fact, it didn't really affect anything because, like I said, I live so close that it doesn't affect anything. Like I said, it's maybe 10-15 minutes to get there, maybe like 15 minutes more realistically because of LA, but yeah, I'm really close to Universal. Did I work at Universal during the week and day hours? So I still did. So when I did scaring, so you'd scare Thursday through Sunday, and then I would work, or sometimes Thursday through Sunday, depending. And then sometimes if Halloween was on Monday, then sometimes you'd have a 5-day run. So I would still work in the Wizarding World on my days off as well. So I would be working like 7 days a week during that time. I never did doubles, but I do know people that would work doubles, and I had some scare actors that when I was supervising that were working doubles, so we really made sure that they were okay and taken care of, because they would say they'd be working like as like a raptor. They'd be working during the day, and then they come do Horror Nights at night. So they'd be working like insanely long days. So I know people would be doing that, but I more just scared at night, and then on the off days when there wasn't Horror Nights, and I would work during the day. But wow, I've been talking for like over an hour now. Wow. But yeah, that was my time at Horror Nights. It was the best time ever. If you have any questions, I can do a follow-up video if there's anything I didn't answer, something you're more curious about, anything. Horror Nights starts in like a week. I am so excited to be going this year, and especially because Holidays in Hell is going to be amazing again this year. I'm so excited to see what they do with it. It's going to be super nostalgic for me. It's going to be so much fun. Yeah, oh my gosh, if I do another Q&A video, like I said, follow me on Instagram and we can connect and all that stuff. Leave any questions down below. Like I said, maybe I'll do a follow-up video. But yeah, thank you all so much for hanging out with me and yeah, being a part of this video. I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!